pray. And Lord, we love you this morning. Pray that you bless us with strength and your power. Pray that you will speak to our hearts, challenge us, admonish us, correct us, refresh us, strengthen us. And may we give glory to you. Please you always see it. Just pray. All right, so we're having a lesson just hand out for that. Before we get into that, I got a whole article I thought was interesting. It's actually a reprint from 2017. And I'm just going to read the beginning of this just because it's interesting. This is the title of the article is The Unholy Alliance Between George Soros and Pope Francis. This is like dated 2015. The election of the liberal Jesuit papacy thrilled Democrats in the United States, whose unholy alliance with the Catholic goes back many decades. Barack Obama, one of the Pope's most prominent supporters, has long been a beneficiary of the alliance. The faculty at Jesuit Georgetown University and Washington, D.C. ranked one of the top donors of the campaign. By the way, this guy's a Catholic, right? Okay. In grim irony, Obama, whose presidency substantially eroded religious freedom in America, rose to power not in spite of the Catholic Church, but because of it. The Archdiocese of Chicago helped make all this radicalism in the 1980s. As he recounts his memoirs, he began his work as a community organizer in rectory rooms in the Holy Rosary Parish on Chicago's South Side. The Eliskite, that's referring to people who follow Saul the radical. That's the guy who wrote the rules for radical dedication. The organization in which he worked, the Developing Communities Project, received $10,000 for the Catholic Campaign for Human Development. Obama was close to the late Chicago Cardinal Joseph Bernardini, a prominent of the seamless garment movement within the Catholic Church in the 1980s. The movement was downplayed abortion and emphasized clericalism. Bernardini was drawn to the socialism and relativism of the liberal elite. He was also gay-friendly. So gratefully that he requested that the Linden City Gay Chorus perform at his funeral. He embodied Obama's conception of a good bishop, and one can see his admixture of left-wing politics and relativism, non-judgmental theology as foreshadowing the rise of Pope Francis. He goes on here talks about starts talking into the history of this, and of course, starting off, we talk about Obama. He talks about all that association with the Catholic Church. Then he talks about Pope Francis and the Soros. We'll show you a picture of every Soros. But there's an interesting article because he's tying some things in. Now, obviously, this guy, he actually died this year. He's called a son of the Holy Mother Church. And so there's people that are Catholic that are all over the place. But you got to remember, that's the Catholic Church. They're on both sides of the issue. And they try to distance themselves. And so obviously, what he had right in this was tying in the Catholic Church with all these wicked stuff that's going on. Because that matches exactly what you see in Revelation 17, verse 1. And there came one of the angels who said to 7 miles and talked to saying, Come hither, and I will show you the judgment of the great one that sits upon many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have made drunk with the wine of fornication. And so, just put in some comments here. This side of the Roman Catholic Church is wrong, is that the outside influences are the ones running things. In other words, you think Soros is having influence over the Pope and the Catholic Church, and he has it backwards. Of course, the core of Revelation is ready to do business with anyone, but make mistakes during the show. As the Scripture says in Revelation 17:18, and the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth. So, yes, break on the time, wrong, always correct, mistake, wrong. People come to, this is terminology. People seek out the strange woman and she might sit them out, but the fact is there's a relationship that goes on there, and it's a whole thing. And that's what we got going on. And it doesn't matter what side you got on, just they're everywhere and everything. And it doesn't matter whether it's tied in, of course, with Hillary Clinton, Planned Parenthood, what I think are dropped on that table, otherwise it's right here, as well. And that's not called it's really not a pro-life church, it's just called but interesting article, nonetheless, for the time here. And now, we're going to turn to start off with Isaiah chapter number 1, because we're talking about why God will not answer prayers. And there's some reasons why God will not answer prayers. We know that God does answer prayers, but sometimes you think about prayer is we express ourselves to the Lord, but basically we're praying for whose will be done. His will. So basically, prayers, us pouring out our heart to Him, but also helping getting us on the same page with God. And then if you ever get on the same page with God, then you ask to stay according to His will, you know that He or she is going to answer you. So that's really part of the trick. But then, of course, there are things that will cut off the Lord working on your behalf and break that fellowship, break that communication line you have with them where you get your prayers through her. And listen, a direct open line to God is something that nobody should be without. I mean, you don't want to have something happen in your life and say, oh, I need to get right with God, so God, I can't hear me because my daughter or my son's in trouble. You just want to be able to say, hey, God, I need help now. And already made communication with them. So the first one here, you have the blanks filled in for you. While you got up there on Sunday school. Okay. So this is why God wants prayer to the first one up there. I'm going to give you the answer. Bloody hands. And here at bloody hands, you've got this is you see the references here on your page as well. Can't help. We'll read verses 10 through 20 here. It's going to be here in the middle. We'll talk about the prayers. Verse number 10, hear the word of the Lord, ye rulers of Sodom, give ear unto the law of our God, ye people of Gomorrah. He's referring to actually the children of Israel. This would be a matchmaking of what you read over in Revelation chapter 11, after the abomination of desolation called Sodom, Egypt. Now, verse 11, to what purpose is the multitude of sacrifices to me, saith the Lord? I am full of burnt offerings of rams, the fat of fed beasts, and I delight not in the blood of bullocks, or of lambs, or of he-goats. When you will come to appear before me, he hath required this at your hand, and tread my courts. Bring no more vain oblation. Incense is abomination to me. The new moons and Sabbaths, the calling of the assemblies, I cannot away with it. It is iniquity, even the solemn meeting. Now, I want to say about something for a second. When John the Baptist's dad was ministering and recording this course, he was taking his turn, and his part was to do what? What was he doing? You remember this? John the Baptist's dad, is that right? Well, he went in with his particular part was to burn incense. So he went to the altar of incense right outside the Holy Place, and he was burning incense. And the people were outside, and what were they doing? You remember? Praying. Because, if you remember, if you haven't got connected to the Old Testament, you'll get it in the New Testament. That verse, and also in Revelation 5, it tells you the odors, the incense, are the prayers of the saints. So to God, prayers are to be a sweet smell. Right? So obviously that's what it represents. So when he talks about, I don't want your incense, so something is caused their prayers to stink before God. So what should be something pleasant, something that's not pleasant. And their meetings, even their solemn assemblies to meet God and come to church if you would. That's something I don't want that. I'm not going to accept it. If that's true for them, how many people are there going to come to church and God says, I'm not taking it? Why wouldn't he take it? Because it's sin. You know, people think anything you do, people is okay. No, there's things to do. And you'll have churches, you'll have Baptist churches in the morning where the pastor will get up in the pulpit and do 4 letter word. Any of them. And you'll have some in their, whatever they call Sunday nowadays. They'll be putting up clips from rated R movies. I know that's a fact. I'm telling you, they'll put it up as illustrations. Why? Because they don't watch the home. right? So what happens? There's nothing holy, there's nothing sacred, there's nothing. They have big gatherings together. They've had them all over the place. And one of the big names was Wordsworth's office running this Andy Stanley. Beer and praise. And drinking alcohol. And young people back probably 20 years ago. If you're going to drink wine, make sure it's the best wine you get. That's a good young people, right? You know? And that's going on in churches. You think God accepts that? God doesn't accept that. I try to be careful when I talk to somebody. Sometimes you say, I'm not like church. And they say, yeah, church, I'm careful to say. Try to be careful not to say, well, that's good, because it's not be good if they're going to a good church. Now, we'll tell the reality is we're not trying to say people church, but we're trying to invite people also witness people. Hey, it's not going to say going to church, they're going to go that same church. I was talking to a lady before, and not in our house, and I was talking to her. She goes to church every Sunday, blah, blah, blah. And we talk about, you know, you're going to heaven. I said, what good church you know every Sunday you're not sure you're going to heaven? I mean, really? What good is that? Don't do you good at all. I mean, it's not helping you. So God says, I'm not putting this stuff. He says, in your new moons, and remember that new moons are out right now because God's going to the church. Colossians chapter 2, verse 16 and 17. But it's coming back and God starts dealing with the Jews. And your appointed feast, my soul hated. That's pretty bad. The things that God had appointed for His glory and remind people of walking with Him and certain blessings He had for them are now something that He hates because of their living. They are a trouble unto me. I am weary to hear them. And when you spread forth your hands, okay, they're praying. You got this thing you see with Solomon when he's building the temple. He was on his knees and he had his hands upright. I'm sure you probably seen a picture or something like that. This is one of the forms of posture and prayer that we had. Spread forth your hands, and I guess the idea, of course, you're honoring the Lord, but also is showing you're not bringing anything to the Lord. Your hands are empty. And also this represents what? Surrender, right? Yeah. So he says, you spread forth your hands, I will hide my eyes from you. That's pretty bad. People going up God praise. I'm not looking at that. Yea, when you make many prayers, I will not hear. And he's going to tell you why. Your hands are full of blood. They're guilty. Now, there's such thing as literal blood because we do know that they used to sacrifice their sons and their daughters to Molech and these false gods, right? So there is literal bloody hands. But also, we're familiar with Ezekiel where he told him to watch him. And if you get warned the wicked of his wickedness, then his blood will part thy hands. And Paul said, I'm guilty of the blood of no man. Now he says, wash you and make you clean. Put away people from your doings before mine eyes. Cease to do evil. Learn to do well. Seek judgment. Relieve the oppressed. Rest the fatherless and the widow. Come now, let us read together, saith the Lord. Though your sins be as scarlet, He will wash them. They shall be as white as snow. Yeah. Though they be red like crimson, they shall be as wool. And obviously there's a remedy. If people would come to the Lord, they'll wash away their sin. If you be willing and obedient to the good land, if you refuse and rebel, you shall be devoured with the sword, for the mouth of the Lord is spoken. So obviously they had bloody hands. We won't be guilty of bloody hands spiritually or literally. And we'll witness to everybody we can do our best to get the good news of Jesus Christ out. Now, also, another reference I had there was Isaiah 59, verses 1 through 3. Behold, the Lord's hand is not short that it cannot save, neither is his ear heavy that it cannot hear. But your iniquities have separated between you and your God, and your sins have hid his face from you that he will not hear. For your hands are defiled with blood, and your fingers with iniquity. Your lips have spoken lies, and your tongue uttered perverseness. And so God coming on there for us. So I'm not stopping the problem. It's problem what you're doing. Now the second thing that is false worship. False worship. Okay, that's the second point there. You like there. Jeremiah 17, verses 16 through 18. Says, therefore pray not for this people, neither literally cry for them, neither make intercession to me, for I will not hear thee. And that's awesome. God's telling Jeremiah, don't bother praying for these people. Matter of fact, don't bring any intercession. Don't intercede for them. Hey, brother Jeremiah, can you pray for them? Nope. God told me you're going to hear me. Seest thou not what they do in the cities of Judah and the streets of Jerusalem? Don't you see? The children gather wood, and their fathers kindle the fire, and the women knead their dough to make cakes to the Queen of Heaven, which is exactly what the Catholic Church calls Mary, the Queen of Heaven. That's what the Pope calls her. And to pour out drink offerings unto other gods, that they may provoke me to anger. And obviously, false worship, cut you off real quick. And I want you to think about this for a second. David committed adultery and murder, but he got right with God. And God forgave him. Solomon got involved with strange women, but they started worshiping other gods, and God ruled his house off with the king. That false worship is pretty strong. God doesn't tolerate that. Now, the next point here, of course, is rebelling against God's word, what God's told them. This is Jeremiah chapter 11, verses 4 through 14. It says, which I command your fathers the day that I brought them forth out of the land of Egypt from the iron furnace, saying, obey my voice and do them according to that which I command you, so that you shall be my people, and I will be your God. That I may perform the oath which I swore to your fathers, to give it to them the land flowing with milk and honey, as it is this day. Then answered I, and said, so be it, O Lord. Then the Lord said unto me, proclaim all these words. He's proclaiming God's word here in the cities of Judah, in the streets of Jerusalem. And I want to point this out, this is going to be up here wide in just a second, well, next hour. But look, and in the streets of Jerusalem. So where's he proclaiming these words? In the cities and in the streets. Saying, hear ye the words of the Lord of this covenant, and do them. Now, it's one thing to hear something, right? It's another thing to hear something and act on it and do it. But God's telling them both. Here I earnestly contest your fathers the day I brought them forth out of the land of Egypt, even to this day, rising up early and protesting, saying, obey my voice. So God's protesting to them. He's telling them, you're right, obey me, listen to me. Verse 8, yet they obey not, nor incline their ear, but walk every one in the imagination of their evil heart. So rather than going by what God said, they're going by their own wicked imagination. Therefore I will bring upon them all the words of this covenant, which I commanded them to do, but they did them not. And the Lord said to me, a conspiracy is found among the men of Judah, among the inhabitants of Jerusalem. They are turned back to the iniquities of their forefathers, which refused to hear my words. And they went after other gods to serve them. Then the house of Israel and the house of Judah have broken my covenant, which I made with their fathers. I want to say something. He says, which refused to hear my words. How many people out there would say, what does God say about something? Well, here's what the Bible says. No, just tell me what he says. Do you understand what I'm saying? They don't want to hear what God said. I want a summary so I can go ahead and word, I guess. Basically, they want some kind of justification, some way of getting around what they're doing, and they just want some basic information. But they don't want to hear God's words, and that's the problem. But they refuse to hear his words. Verse 11, therefore thus saith the Lord, behold, I will bring evil upon them, which they shall not be able to escape. And though they shall cry unto me, I will not hearken unto them. In other words, you will listen to me, God says, I'm not going to listen to you. And they're going to cry when trouble comes, but I'm not going to listen to them. Then shall the cities of Judah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem go and cry unto the gods unto whom they offer incense. Now it's funny, when real trouble hits, they go to first. The real God. I'll listen to you. Oh, let's go ask these gods and serve him. But they shall not save him at all in the time of their trouble. For according to the number of their cities were their gods, O Judah, thy gods, O Judah, and according to the number of thy streets of Jerusalem have they set up altars to this shameful thing, even altars of burnt incense unto Baal. Therefore pray not for this people with a cry or a prayer for them, for I will not hear them in the time that they cry to me for their trouble. And so obviously that refusing to hear and obey the word of God. Then the next point here is forsaking God. And you think some of these things go together, they probably do, regardless of calling out separate here. This is Jeremiah 14, verse 10. Thus saith the Lord unto his people, thus have they loved to wander. Think about that song. Thus have they loved to wander. They have not refrained their feet. You know, there's a place where you should go. Some people don't have enough sense to avoid trouble. Therefore, the Lord does not accept them. He will now remember their iniquity and visit their sins. Thus saith the Lord to me, pray not for this people for their good. Now, that's this time, he's telling Jeremiah, you can't pray for them, but don't pray for their good. Don't pray for their good. Don't pray for their good. When they fast, now get this, when they fast, I will not hear their cry. And when they offer burnt offering and an oblation, I will not accept them, but I will consume them by the sword and by the famine and by the pestilence. And so they forsake God, and God says, I'm done with that, and I'm not going to listen to you. And God knows when somebody's sincere or not. He really does. You can't fool God. Now, this is probably the most obvious. This is probably everybody knows this. Asking this is James chapter 4, verse 3. Of course, this means the faulty manner, contrary to piety, truth, law, morality. So you're asking for something you should have for the wrong reason of your lust. This is James 4:3. Ask and receive not because you ask amiss, that you may consume upon your lust. And they're again saying faith in God and asking for things that are not according to the will of God. Now, also regarding, this is the next blank we have there, regarding iniquity in your heart. And that's basically keeping a place in there where there's a safe zone for sin, right? In other words, some people are open for God to do a whole lot of things, and then there's certain things they got in their life they're not really ready for God to get a hold of and surrender to God. So they'll safeguard it, they'll regard their heart. That's the interest of prayer. Psalm 16, verse 18. If I regard iniquity in my heart, the Lord will not hear me. Okay, so that regarding iniquity in your heart, hiding things, trying to keep God, that's going to hinder your prayers. Also, offering unworthy service to the Lord. This is Malachi 1, verses 7 through 9. Ye offer polluted bread upon my altar. And you say, wherein have we polluted thee? And that you say, the table of the Lord is contemptible. And if you offer the blind for sacrifices, is it not equal? We're going to sacrifice anyway, it doesn't matter. Hey, some people bring their leftovers to God and their scraps to God. And I've mentioned this before, I don't know. I remember as a little kid, in Chipper Baptist Big Church, about 2,000 people. I remember people bringing broken cribs. I remember people giving broken stuff to the church. But why would you do that? Is it a dump? Well, the church fixes it. Why don't you fix it? They give it to church. They offer the blind, is it not evil? And if you offer the lame and the sick, is it not evil? Offer it now to thy governor. They're not going to do that. They actually respect him. Will he be pleased with thee, or accept thy person, saith the Lord of hosts? Yeah, he's not going to. The governor will be that. And now I pray you beseech God that he will be gracious in this, that this hath been by your means. Will he regard your persons, saith the Lord of hosts? In other words, I'm not going to regard you as what you're doing. Now, this has to do, this next lesson is rejecting God's call. And it's not having necessarily a calling on your life, like he called me to preach or something like that. We're talking about God's calling out people, and he's offering them wisdom, he's offering them instruction, he's offering them the way of life and of peace and of joy, and they're refusing. So they're refusing God's call in that direction. Okay, so this is Proverbs 1, verse 24 through 28. God says, because I have called and you have refused, I have stretched forth my hand and regarded you. But ye have set it not all by counsel, and with none of my reproof. I also will laugh at your calamities. One of the times you see God laughs in the Bible, and a lot of times he's laughing at somebody. And here he's laughing at those who rejected his word, rejected his counsel, rejected what he had to say. Now think about this. How many people have grown up in church, and a church that actually preached the Bible, and they knew what God said about how to raise your children, right? They heard it. Or at least they had a grandparent or somebody told them, right? And they said, no, I'm not doing that. Dr. Phil says we should. Right? Yeah. Oprah said we should. Right? So what's going to happen when they call to God? God, my child, he's crazy. I said, crazy? Those nuts. I will walk when your fear cometh, When your fear cometh as desolation, and your destruction cometh as whirlwind, when distress and anguish come upon you, then you shall call upon me, and I will not answer. Then they shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. Pretty strong. That's what God said. And boy, you better pay attention to God the first time. And then also, this other one's from you hear God's word. This is Proverbs 28, verse 9. He that turneth away his ear from hearing the law, even his prayers shall be an abomination. That's those who will not listen. That ties into those things read as well. But somebody who will not listen to God's word, listen. I want you to think about it this way. There's some people who don't want to hear what God said, but how many people have a Bible sitting at home and they never read it? They're not hearing. They'll check Facebook. They'll check Instagram. They'll talk on the telephone, but they don't read God's word. And so we're sort of turning this ear away from hearing the law. This prayer should be an abomination. And God said, I'm not going to listen to that. And we're going to go to the next one. This is, it's got a blank here. Put that next one here. Not the verse, next one.
Oh, very good. I got you.
Not honoring your what? Why? Now, you might not have known that was one of the points with this. And it's in 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 7. Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge. And it says, you understand, it says knowledge. It says, giving honor unto the wife, as unto the weaker vessel, and as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered. Wow. That was fair. You forgot it, there it is. So honoring your wife, okay? And some people talk to their wife about their wife like she's garbage. And not listening to you. Turning a deaf ear to the cry of the poor. The poor. This is from Proverbs 21, verse 13. Whoso stoppeth his ears as they cry no more, he also shall cry himself and shall not be heard. Now, there's a Bible talks a lot about the poor. And I'm not going to give somebody money to buy drugs, but I'll get you food. And you don't want to turn your ear away from your ear. Well, they made decisions. Well, some people did, some people didn't. But the fact is, you told us remember the Lord follows his widow and scriptures. So be careful about that. And then also, the next point is wavering faith. Somebody who doesn't really believe what God says, doesn't really believe when they ask something. Now, this is James 1, verse 6 and 7. But let him ask in faith, nothing wavering. For he that wavers is like the wave of the sea, driven with the wind and tossed. Now, wave is what? It's telling you that the wind's going to act on it, right? And the sea is going to move it around everywhere. And if you don't have faith in God, if you're not anchored in, you don't believe, then it says in verse 7, for let not that man think that he can receive anything. Now listen, when you come to God, you got to believe. You got to believe that He is, and that He's a rewarder of them that diligently seek. You got to believe He's going to honor your prayers if you come to Him sincerely and with your heart right. He's going to have to believe it. Just like when you ask the Lord to do something, you got to trust Him with all your heart and believe He's going to direct your path. You got to believe it. It's like praying, Lord, I want you to fill me with your spirit so I can witness, so I can do your word. Believe He's going to do it. He said He would. Why would you doubt Him? And so we got to have faith and trust God for what He did. Now, the next one is a person's hypocrite. This is from Job 27, verses 8 through 9. I got a definition here for hypocrite. This is from Webster's 1888. One who feigns or pretends to be what he is not. One who has the form of godliness without the power, or assumes an appearance of piety and virtue when he is destitute of true religion. And what's a perfect example of that in the New Testament? Who did Jesus call out? They look like one thing, but inside they were something else. The scribes and Pharisees, remember Matthew 23? You look good on the outside, but boy, inside is rotten. You're filthy. You're like a glass was good on the outside, but it's filthy inside. You like the sepulchres, you know, it looks good on the outside, but inside it's like dead man's bones. And you let them have it for that. That hypocrisy, God's not going to honor that. But what is the hope of the hypocrite? Though he hath gained, when God shall take away his soul, Will God hear his cry when trouble cometh upon him? And the implication here is that God's not going to be a hypocrite. The next big thing is, this is just a blank here. This is pride. Pride obviously is a major problem in the hindrance of prayer as well. First verse, Job 35, verse 12 and 13. There they cried, but not answered, because of the pride of evil men. Surely God will not hear vanity, neither will the Almighty regard it. So here's somebody who's proud. And we also see an example from the prayer that Jesus talked about between the Pharisee and the publican, and that illustrates the difference between the two. This Pharisee is full of pride. He says, the Pharisee stood and prayed thus with himself. I think that's a key phrase there, with himself. Some people want to be heard, and some people like hearing themselves talk. Thus with himself, God, I think that I am not as other men are, extortioners, unjust, adulterers, or even as this publican. Boy, that'll make you sick to your stomach when somebody talk like that. I fast twice a week and give tithes of all I possess. He's just bragging on himself, and he likes hearing it. Thanks God will too. And the publican, the old dirty, rotten tax collector, standing far off and not lifting so much of his eyes to him, but smote upon his breast, saying, God be merciful to me, a sinner. And that's probably about the simplest prayer you're going to get, right? God be merciful to me, a sinner. In other words, I need mercy because I deserve punishment. I tell you, this man which is justified is declared righteous rather than the other. For everyone that exalts himself shall be abased, and that humbles himself shall be exalted. Once heard, was not, once humble, once proud. Now, this is the next thing that hinders prayer, of course. This is hopefully applied to nobody here. This is enemies of the saints. Enemies of the saints. And Psalm 18, verse 40 and 41. Thou hast also given me the necks of my enemies, that I might destroy them that hate me. They cried, but there was none to save, even unto the Lord, but he answered them not. So obviously the enemies of David were calling out to the Lord, but God did not hear them. He did not answer them, because they were enemies of the saints, the true saints who walk with the Lord. Then in Micah 3, verses 2 through 4, rough verses, basically the same implication here. Who hate the good and love the evil. Are there people that hate people that are good and love people that are evil? Sure there are. Who pluck off their skin from off them, and their flesh off their bones. Who also eat the flesh of my people, and flay their skin off them, and break their bones, and chop them to pieces, as for the pot, and as flesh within the cauldron. Then shall they cry unto the Lord, but he will not hear them. He will even hide his face from them at that time, as they have behaved themselves ill in their doings. And of course, the enemy of God's people who have to hear them calling him. By the way, there's wicked people that will call upon Paul and they get in trouble. They really will. And you never know, because God sometimes, when you humble yourself, he does show some mercy here. Now, this last point here is, therefore confess your sins and humble yourself before the Lord. Okay, and you should also have, if you confess, if you admit you're wrong, you shouldn't continue doing wrong. I think that should go without saying. Might as well say it. I mean, if I'm asking God to forgive me for something bad, I shouldn't do it anymore. I should give it up. And this is, everybody knows 1 John 1:9. Confess your sins. If we confess our sins, he is faithful and just to forgive us our sins, and that cleanses us from all unrighteousness. Now, I want to turn over to the passage over here. Turn over to 1 Kings chapter 21. Let's read that thing. Really good passage of Scripture. 1 Kings chapter number 21. 1 Kings 21. 1 Kings 21. What to see the context of this? This is something else. And this shows you the mercy of God and the grace of God, the long-suffering of God. It's interesting. This is 1 Kings 21, let's look at verse 17. 1 Kings 21, verse 17. And the word of the Lord came by Elijah the Tishbite, saying, Arise and go down to Ahab, king of Israel, which is in Samaria. Behold, he is in the vineyard of Naboth. Now, what do you do to Naboth? With his wife, his fire, and they had killed and stole his land. Basically, sell it. Here's your father. It's scripture. Whether he is gone down to possess it, and thou shalt speak to him, saying, Thus saith the Lord, Thou hast killed, and thou hast also taken possession. Or he has thou killed, and thou hast taken possession. And thou shalt speak unto him, saying, Thus saith the Lord, in the place where the dogs lick the blood of Naboth, shall the dogs lick thy blood, even thine. It's pretty rough. And Ahab said unto Elijah, Hast thou found me, O mine enemy? And he said, I have found thee, because thou hast sold thyself for evil in the sight of the Lord. Behold, I will bring evil upon thee, and will take away thy posterity, and will cut off from Ahab him that pisseth against the wall. And don't be offended by that, because he's telling you the difference between the way that men go to the bathroom and women go to the bathroom. And it's always a horror when you walk in as a man and you don't see a girl in the wall. You're like, oh, wrong bathroom. That's scary. So God makes this distinction on purpose, and it's a new one, as we see in our day. And him that shut up and left Israel. And I will make thy house like the house of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, and like the house of Baasha, the son of Adonijah. For the provocation were his house, provoked me to anger, and made me to sin. And Jezebel also spake the Lord, saying, The dog shall eat Jezebel by the wall of Jezreel. Him that dieth of Ahab in the city, the dog shall eat, him that dieth in the field shall the fowls of the air eat. But there was none like Ahab, which did sell himself to work wickedness in the sight of the Lord, whom Jezebel his wife stirred up. And he did very abominably in following idols according to all the things as did the Amorites, whom the Lord did cast out before the children of Israel. And it came to pass when Ahab heard these words, pay attention to this. Ahab is not a nice person. He's a very wicked person. Not a wicked wicked. It came to pass when Ahab heard these words that he rent his clothes and put sackcloth upon his flesh, and fasted and lay in sackcloth and went softly. And the word of the Lord came to Elijah the Tishbite, saying, Seest thou how that Ahab humbled himself before me? Because he hath humbled himself before me, I will not bring the evil in his days, but in his son's days will I bring evil upon his house. And it's interesting because even Ahab, when he humbled himself in such a manner, in his true and sincere manner, the Lord saw that and took note of it and did extend some mercy, although he was still bringing words to pass upon his household, upon his wife Jezebel. Last two references here is 1 Peter chapter 5. 1 Peter 5. They're both pretty close together. 1 Peter chapter 5, verses 5 through 7. 1 Peter 5, verses 5 through 7. It says, Likewise, you younger, submit yourselves unto the elder. Yea, all of you be subject one to another, because we're all servants, are we not? And be clothed with humility. For God resisteth the proud, but giveth grace to the humble. Humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of God, that he may exalt you in due time. And that's always the question, what is the due time? This is not ours. Casting all your care upon him, for he careth for you. And so God does respond to that humility, just like he responds to resistance, pride. He also responds to humility. Then just look at the same thing in the Bible. James 4, verses 6 to 10. James 4, not the same page, just 4. Turn a few pages back. James 4, sorry. James 4, verses 6 to 10. James 4, 6. Okay. But he giveth more grace. Wherefore he saith, God resisteth the proud, but giveth grace to the humble. Submit yourselves therefore to God, resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Draw nigh to God, he will draw nigh to you. Cleanse your hands, ye sinners, and purify your hearts, ye double-minded. In other words, you can make it combined. Does that make sense? Double-minded. You can't make it mind will serve God or not. Be afflicted and mourn and weep. Let your laughter return in the morning, and your joy to heaven. Humble yourselves in the sight of the Lord, and he shall lift you up. Now, it's interesting because in this context, he does tell you something about if you're truly humble, if you're truly seeking God's face, what links you go to. And some people don't like to have sorrow, right? And you should be sorry when you do something against God. You should mourn. You should not be joyful about it. You're not celebrating sin. Something that's a wedge between you and God, is something that hurts the Lord. And think about that verse where it says, What are these wounds in thy hands? This shall receive the house of my friends. And there's a song where I still feel pain every time I sin. It's quite a fall. But the Lord is merciful and gracious, and there are some things that God's good enough to not just leave us in the dark. If you're doing something that's going to be a hindrance to prayers, God's going to have to tell you what those things are. You have to, sit there and wonder. Those things that God does tell you what's going to hinder your prayers, and what's going to be something that's going to help and be a blessing to you. All right, so we're going to go ahead and lead this in prayer for the morning service.